Hi, and welcome back to Bedecked. I am the author stylist, Rebecca and Brian, but you can call me Beck. Today, as you can see, we're in a new location. I'm trying to switch things up and see if I like sitting in front of a desk better than sitting in front of a blank wall. To be honest, the blank wall I was in front of is not very wide, so I had to do some crazy cropping every time. But that's behind the scenes stuff. You don't have to worry about it. So we're going to see how this works this week, and maybe I'll change it up again. But more importantly, let's get to the topic of the episode today. We are talking about author pictures. I had an interview with Becky from Forever Young Photography. She's a local photographer. She's located in Cedarburg, Wisconsin. And I wanted to get a professional's opinion on what are the best tips and tricks to get the best possible author photo, what we should do, what we should avoid, what looks best on camera, and why we should consider going the professional route. Let me introduce Becky and how I know her, and then we'll get right into the interview. She's got some great information. You're going to want to be taking notes. I first worked with Becky back in 2015 for my first set of author photos for my concert fandom series. At the time, I only had one book, Front Row. Now I've talked about it many times before. And these were my first author photos, my first professional author photos. I really liked how they turned out. They really fit my brand at the time. And then I worked with Becky again in 2017 to do a fun boudoir shot. So this year, with my rebrand and with a nonfiction project I'm working on for the Author Stylist brand to give you guys tips on how to match yourself, your clothing, your fashion to your brand, your books, I wanted to get some new photos taken. While I interviewed, at the same time, I interviewed Becky for this channel. Becky is really good at finding poses that work for your body type or work for the picture you're trying to take. As you can see, I have some action shots here. We did some standing, some sitting, and she talks more about that process in the interview. So let's get right into it. Here is Becky from Forever Young Photography.
There, yeah. Yep. And then don't lean back, like sit up straight. Okay.
So as I said, today I am here with Becky, who is the owner of Forever Young Photography. Let's get right into the interview. How long have you been a photographer?
20 years. Well, 20 plus years. So I scratched 2020. That year doesn't exist. So,
yeah.
But that was actually my 20th year
wow.
In business. So I started straight out of high school,
Mm-hmm.
doing like seniors and families and stuff like that. And then when I graduated college, I started doing weddings. And then in 2015, I think it was, I got my first like official studio. And then I just recently moved like 2 weeks ago to this actual space that we're in now.
Nice.
So
what are your favorite types of shoots to do?
I really like anything that's one-on-one. Families and stuff are of course great, but I feel like when I work one-on-one with somebody, I get to know them better and get to know their personality, things that they like, and then we can add those elements to their pictures. Mm-hmm. So like with seniors, I've had some that like are into photography themselves, so they bring a camera along, or some people like dance, so we'll do some more like dancing poses, things like that, add that element of personality into it. So one-on-one.
Great segue, because today we are talking about author pictures. Now, I noticed a lot of authors, especially indie authors, go with just like a selfie for their picture. Why use a professional instead of a selfie?
So there's a couple of different reasons. One is just going to be angles. So photographers know angles. They also know lighting. So there are angles that are going to be flattering, and then there's going to be angles that are not flattering. As a woman, we all do the, tilt, right?
Up here,
up here. Okay, shooting down your nose. Yep. Okay. But straight on is actually how people would see you. And any good photographer will be able to angle you to for your body type, and just make sure that you are positioned in a way that makes you look fabulous, flawless, hair is good, all those things. So that's a huge thing. And then lighting, just making sure that like the shadows on your faces make you look thinner, or that not that you have like a big like shadow on your nose or something that's going to make it look off a little bit. So I feel like lighting is really a big one, as well as like the angle of view for sure. That would help as far as like professional versus doing like a selfie or something. There's poses that they can help as well to make you look your best. So
what has been the most interesting shoot you've ever done?
A merman.
Oh yeah?
I think that's probably the most interesting one. It was a gentleman who wanted to be a merman. He wanted like fantasy style pictures. It wasn't something I'd ever been asked to do before. And he's gone on to do like elaborate costuming and stuff like that. So
cool.
It was very interesting and to see him grow and stuff, because I've followed him on like Instagram and things like that. So, but yeah, that was definitely one of those like, okay,
sure,
okay, I feel you. What are we doing? So we actually went like to the lake, and we found a spot that looked ocean-esque, obviously, because we live by the lake and not the ocean. So we brought like seashells and like a bunch of like jewelry and stuff. Then we photoshopped the tail.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so it was interesting, but it was cool, and it was a fun creative shoot to do. So
yeah, something like that would work for a book cover too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've had some authors do like historical type scenes where like we do costuming and stuff like that, and then go and try to pick a set that would work within that realm that doesn't look modern day, or to fit whatever the type of style of book it is. If it's like urban, then we would go somewhere that is more city-like and stuff like that. So.
Very cool. So what colors look best on camera? Let's get into the nitty-gritty.
I like jewel tone colors. Also, it's going to depend on your skin tone. So you want something that's going to make you pop. If you have dark hair and dark eyes, I would not recommend wearing black. Because you want your hair and your eyes and everything to stand out, because that's what people are going to see the most of. And I feel like black is one of those like go-to things where everyone's like, oh, I'll just grab this black shirt. Right. But but like someone with dark hair and dark eyes could definitely get away with wearing like red or white even. That if you want to go something just straight up neutral. I think like you today have great pops of color. Like it tones like your eyes with your lips, with your the colors that you have on are all like working together. So like today I had like a white shirt with a darker top because I wanted to contrast the colors that I was wearing with like the tone of my hair and stuff like that. So I feel like just working within your color realm. And I would avoid like shorts. They don't photograph super well unless you're doing like a beach shoot, things like that. So there's graphics like on tees, unless you're selling, like if you're doing something where you're like selling a graphic tee, obviously you would wear that. But things with graphics can be distracting. Bright greens reflect green like up onto your chin and stuff. So like even if you were to like lay in grass, that color of green is gonna cast and add green to like under your chin. So it would have to be lit well to make that go away. But definitely something I would kind of recommend staying away from is like green, unless it's like foresty green, but like neon green. And then just dressing really color wise for your skin tone, your hair color, all of that. And like your setting as well. Like don't wear green and then stand in front of a pine tree.
Good call.
Because you blend it. So,
what about patterns? Are there any patterns to avoid, or does it not matter too much?
So I like to mix patterns with solids. So I feel like you could do like if you had a solid undershirt and then wear something patterned over it, and also like layering so that you could potentially take a layer off if it was printed. But typically there's not a pattern to necessarily stay away from unless you're in a group of other people who are also wearing patterns. You can mix patterns like stripes and florals look good together, but you have to do it correctly, and that's a whole different game.
Yes,
So
I can help you with that.
I think that's a whole other story. So you can do it, you know, as long as you know the rules to go by.
Yeah. So speaking of mistakes people make, what are some common mistakes clients make when they come in for a shoot?
Wearing clothes that don't fit, whether they be too big or too small. Definitely wear something that fits you well or that it's tailored for you. Big clothes are baggy and gonna, you know, unfortunately they make you look bigger if it's something super baggy. And then fitted clothes will actually, like too tight, will do the same thing. So I definitely would just make sure that you're wearing things that you know fit you in the places that you want them to fit. Yes. And then not wearing brand new clothes. So a lot of times I'll have like a gentleman come to a shirt or to a shoot with a brand new shirt that has like the creases.
Did you notice mine? I just ironed this before I came here.
But you ironed it before you came. You didn't pull it out of the package, right? Yeah. So I literally will have people like pull it out of the package when they're here and put it on, and I'm like, oh, there's like the full. So there's like creases, you know,
some crazy Photoshop you'd have to do.
So please help your photographer by like just a pre-wash is good. An iron, a steam, like you can hang it in your bathroom when you take your shower to just kind of loosen some of those creases. But so I definitely don't recommend super brand new clothes where you're popping the tags right there unless it's already like on a hanger and not coming out of the Amazon pack or whatever. And you want to make sure that it's going to fit you, of course, beforehand. Right. So yes, that's kind of the don't do.
Okay. So I saw on your website you also do brand photography. Can you tell us more about that and how it's different from like a headshot session like what we did here today?
Yes. So, and what we did here was kind of a little mix of both. So a standard headshot is going to be like, say you work for XYZ Bank and they need you to be on a white backdrop, like, or blue or black or something like that. You're going to like stand in a particular pose, like with the arm and the shoulder and just like very straightforward. Where a branding session is something that's a little bit more of that personality, like I was talking about with like seniors and things like that. We add more of you into the session. So they can be more full body. They can be, you can add props, and the poses aren't so like tight, I guess, like, you know, more relaxed type posing and things like that. You can move around, you can laugh, you can have fun, you can flip your hair, you can, you know, do different things. You can bring your products and have them in the shoot with you, things like that, versus just like a sit and, you know, like head, shoulder, tightly cropped kind of thing. So that's kind of the biggest difference is posing, and location too. Like you could definitely do branding in studio or outside, where headshots are more inside with specific lighting for that. And then like a plain backdrop, just like white or black or whatever. And branding stuff too. You can also like change your outfits, things like that. You can wear hats, you can, you know, it's a little more of a fun type of a thing. So
how could authors or other brands benefit from something like that? Like what kind of things could they use the pictures for?
I would say any social media platform, you can put them as your profile pictures. You can collaborate them together and do like little videos. If you did something like this, you could actually do like a TikTok or a boomerang, like of me taking some of the pictures and then add those. And then you could do like your tips or whatever, or talk about your book and things. So like, hey, I had a photo shoot today. And then you can add stuff later as far as like showing kind of what you did that day kind of a thing. But definitely there's a multitude of ways to use them. You can use them as your book jackets. You could do the back of your book, websites. Any social media, Facebook, blogging, all the things.
All the things.
LinkedIn, whatever, everything. Posters. Like some people do your book gatherings when like a conference or a convention, like things like that. Some people have like posters of products or yourself or whatever. You can make like posters and things for those type of events as well. So lots of things you can do with them.
Cool. All right. So the final question, do you have any advice for people either looking for a photographer, or if they're about to go into a session, any tips?
So if you're looking for a photographer, I would recommend finding someone who fits your personality. And because if someone isn't the same type of personality, is not necessarily that they're not the same, but that you mesh well, that you can go back and forth to make sure you can laugh together, or like we were telling some jokes and kind of just joking around a little bit just to make you relax.
Mm-hmm.
If it's too forced, or if you don't feel comfortable, your pictures are going to reflect that uncomfortableness. Or you end up with the fake smiles and things like that you don't want. You want more personable looks,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you're going into a photo session, you already have your photographer. Posing, as far as like angles in your like arms and legs, you could go into like a mirror just beforehand and just kind of practice, but move around. You don't have to be super still. Like, you can move your body, and you can cross your legs different ways. You can move your arms from here to there. You can put your arms in your hair. You don't have to be super like posed.
I should have asked you before my session.
It's okay to be free.
Yeah.
Well, we had you move around and do stuff. I mean, I tell people to move around, and I showed you a few poses that we would do like within one spot, like. So we had the chair that we used, and we did like 5 different poses with that chair. And sometimes like with seniors and stuff too, like I'll, or like a one-on-one, I'm like, it's okay to move around if you feel like you want to spin or like flip your hair or turn, like you don't have to be super stiff. It's okay. The camera shoots like a couple pictures per second. So we're going really fast. So if you're moving, it's not a huge deal. Or we'll be like, oh, I like that. Do that one more time, And again, that just adds that personality element into something to show on camera.
Cool.
So,
well, thank you so much, Becky, for taking the time to tell us all of the things.
All the things.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that interview. I hope you got a lot of information from it. I know I did. As you could see, there were some don'ts that I did during the photo shoot. So learn from my mistakes. I wanted to share with you one of the final shots Becky got. She emailed her favorite shot early so I could use it in the video. So here's one of the final shots from the photo shoot. I think it turned out great, and I'm super happy with it. So I hope you'll consider using a professional photographer for your author pics or your brand photography, maybe some social media or a banner you can use at your events. Or if you don't, if you use a friend, you can use these tips to get the best photo for you. Join me next time. I will be decking out another book. Not sure which one yet. It'll be a surprise to me and to you. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Bedecked, and thanks for watching. Bye.